2019 to 2023, it is 92%, 94%,
I'm just
98%.
Madam Speaker, I just want to know the data from 2022 to 2023. Yun lang kailangan ko.
Okay, 9% for 2023. For 2024,
Wala pa.
yeah, pero
Wala pa naman eh. So
wala
again,
pa, pero meron.
Again, maybe, Madam Speaker, I'm reading again the wrong facts and data.
Ito na naman, Presley de Jesus, binanata ng speaker na si Garin sa nangyaring pagdinig sa mataas na pagpupulong sa Kamara. Edukasyon sa bansa, kwalidad nga kaya? Pero bago ang lahat, maaari kayong mag-subscribe para maging updated sa mga issue at bagong mga balita. Binanatan nga ni Philrica Representative Presley de Jesus si Garin sa naging interpolasyon nito kung napatupad nga raw ba o mano ang quality and free education sa tertiary levels. Dagdag ni Jesus kung may naging improvement ba ang programang ito. Garin, walang maipakitang data. Narito ang buong detalye.
May the good sponsor yield to some questions from these representations?
Willingly,
From
Madam
this-
Speaker.
Yeah. Madam Speaker, Honorable Sponsor, my first question, what are the major components of the universal access to quality tertiary education under CHED?
The major components of WACT is actually free higher education, free higher tertiary education, and that includes tertiary education subsidy and the Tulong Dunong program.
And the third one is?
Tulong Dunong program.
Is that also considered the student loan program? Would that be different?
No, Madam Speaker.
So where's the student loan program falls?
The student loan program was funded for 1 billion for a year. However, Madam Speaker, there were few takers, so much so that the CHED was ordered to review the implementation of this program so that it will be more palatable and there will be more takers.
Okay, when you say there's no taker, what does it mean? Because the SUCs offered free education? Is that correct?
That's one of the major factors, Madam Speaker.
So by choice, if my kids or my children wanted to go to private colleges or universities, and if we avail the student loan program, will they be granted?
If they qualify and comply with the documents, that will be granted, Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues.
Madam Speaker, may I know the requirements? Is it stringent enough or strict guidelines? May I know the guidelines of the student loan program?
Okay. The program, Madam Speaker, actually only requires a proof of enrollment and the approved amount that's up for loan is around 60,000 with a 2% annual interest.
So it's only 60,000 per semester per year.
Per year, Madam Speaker.
So when you convert that to what kind of courses that will be granted for 30,000 per semester, if you divided the 60,000, I don't think it suffices enough.
Well,
Maybe that's the reason, Madam Speaker, there's no taker because 60,000, ano mangyayari sa 60,000 na napakaliit?
Well, Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the amount of 60,000 was pegged after evaluating the average tuition of private schools in the provinces. But of course, there is because it's a loan, there are safeguards that has to be instilled because it cannot be a dole out. And these are part of the requirements, similar to a loan that you apply before a bank. The only difference here is that the interest is only 2%. in contrast to the other loans. Before banks, wherein the interest at the minimum would be roughly around 7 to 8%, with collateral pa yan.
So in short, Madam Speaker, the CHED doesn't encourage to use the student loan program. That's why it's the most of them they don't take the student loan program.
I think, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, it is not that CHED does not encourage it. In fact, it was a program that was started by CHED. Unfortunately, there are few takers, most probably because it is coursed through Land Bank or the Development Bank of the Philippines. There are documentary requirements, and students often are not used to complying with loan and banking documents.
Yeah, I think, Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor, that's the main reason. That's why there's no taker, because we don't encourage them. And I said it's only Land Bank, no? It's under government financial institution. Is the Land Bank only the option that they can take a loan?
It's only the Development Bank of the Philippines. My apologies, Madam Speaker. It's DBP and not Land Bank. Land Bank evaluated but did not approve the program.
So in short, you encourage them just go to SUCs kasi libre na ron.
Well,
Yung ba yun?
Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, it's a choice of the student depending on the proximity of the residence, the course that the student would like to take, the preference of the student. CHED encourages both public and government university as long as the objective of having our students schooled and educated is fulfilled.
That's why the reason, Madam Speaker, I asked that question, because as far as SUC is concerned, do you agree that we have a low passing rate pagdating sa SUC, especially sa probinsya, vis-a-vis to private universities?
If,
Do you
Madam
have any
Speaker,
data na you can compare? Can you compare the graduates? I'm talking about the board passers. Graduates sa SUCs, for example, accountancy, nursing, agriculture, compared to private universities or colleges. Do you have any data?
Madam
Comparison?
Speaker, distinguished colleague, yes, we have the data, and we are proud to say that without any discrimination or attribution of whatsoever, we are very proud to say that our SUCs are actually producing a lot of board and board passers, and the percentage of academic performance and passing in terms of examinations that will be required by government and by other entities is a lot higher in government institutions.
So you're telling us, Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor, mas mataas ang passing rate natin sa SUCs kumpara.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
So I think this is wrong then, because if I may read this, Madam Speaker, the reason why the low passing rate in licensure exam are observed in some fields such as accountancy, agriculture, criminology, and nursing, this could either be explained by the poor quality of degree programs offered in SUCs or the standardized exam that may be disadvantageous to those in rural or poorer areas. CHED has already been looking into the quality standards of degree. So, alam niyo pala, CHED, na you're looking for this. But the distinguished sponsor, Madam Speaker, said that the graduate of SUC, the passing rate is better, is higher compared to private Ds, but this is a fact that I'm holding right now, no? So may I ask the CHED, kasi nakalagay dito, CHED has already been looking into the quality standards of the degrees program of the low-performing HEIs. So in short, Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor, mas mataas pa rin yung private DUs. That's why I'm bringing up the student program loan. Kasi you probably they're being diverted to only SUCs. Kaya yung tinatanong ko, that's why it's related to the student.
Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the statement is correct when it said the CHED is looking into the quality and standards of HEIs, meaning the higher educational institutions that covers both private and public. But when it comes to passing percentage, it's a lot higher in the SUCs. But because it's still under the gambit of the Commission on Higher Education, the CHED is looking into schools, let's say, for example, nursing schools with very low or almost zero passing percentage. In fact, there was already a moratorium issued against opening new nursing schools. And if my memory recalls me right, sometime in 2011, there were approximately a little over 20 nursing schools that were closed down because of zero passing percentage. But these were all private institutions. And for agriculture, yes, the passing percentage is not that high, but agricultural courses are all offered by government institutions. And just like the Bachelor of Science in Accountancy, the passing percentage is not that high. I'm not sure, I bet it's something around 20, 30%. And that goes through all HEIs, but still, if you look at the average, the percentage of passing is a lot higher in SUCs.
So in short, so you have the data that the HUC is higher than the
Yes, Madam
passing-
Speaker, and we are very much willing to convey this to our very good distinguished colleague, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker, and distinguished sponsor. Now I proceed to, as you know, every time I see our good senior vice chairman of appropriations, I always use the utilization rate since we are tackling the budget of every department, no? Do you have, what's the utilization rate? Compare it to 2022 to 2023.
The utilization rate, if we look at obligation, is 78% for 2023. 2020. And the disbursement rate is 89%. So just to recap, if we look at the past 5 years, for your obligation rate, from 2019 to 2023, it is 92%, 94%,
I'm just
98%.
Madam Speaker, I just want to know the data from 2022 to 2023. Yun lang kailangan ko.
Okay. For 2022, the obligation rate is 97%, and for 2023, it's 78%. For disbursement rate, it's 99% for 2022 and 89% for 2023. For 2024,
Wala pa.
yeah, pero
Wala pa naman eh. So
wala
again,
pa, pero meron.
Again, maybe, Madam Speaker, I'm reading again the wrong facts and data. According here, no, budget utilization in unused appropriation, CHED, saw a large drop in its obligation appropriations ratio to 63% in 2023 and 82% in 2022. Can you confirm this, distinguished sponsor? 2022.
That is reliable, Madam Speaker, but that was prepared last year. So the updated that we have is that it's 97% for 2022, 99% as of August 31, 2024. And for 2023, it's 78% and 89% respectively, again, as of August 31, 2024. So the figures that you have actually came from the Department of Budget and Management, but that was a report as of, I think, mid of 2020, as of end of 2023.
So yours is more latest. As of
Yes.
what month and year is that?
It's as of August 31, 2024. So this is approximately 8 months after that DBM report.
Yeah, but when you submitted your budget to DBM, so which data did you use?
Well, DBM would reckon it on the end of the year. But the Commission on Higher Education, because the presentation before DBM is somewhere around April and May, they would present the first quarter of utilization, and that is as of March 31, 2024.
So in short, Madam Speaker, during the committee hearing, if someone raised this question, so ano isasagot nyo? Yung latest data nyo?
Yung latest po, Madam Speaker.
I would like to have a minute again, the minutes of the hearing kung yan na, which is, I agree with the senior vice chairperson dito na utilization rate, pag umabot ng 95 pataas is okay na yon. Am I right? Yeah. Okay, so I take your word from that, Madam Speaker. Again, I move to another question, no? Which is this my probably favorite. What is the Higher Education Development Fund?
The Higher Education Development Fund, Madam Speaker, distinguished colleague, is actually an earmark. It's an earmarked allocation from TIEZA, PRC, PCSO, that is intended for the strengthening of higher education programs.
So, do you also get from PCSO?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
And how much we received last year, 2023 and 2022?
Madam Speaker, we are getting the actual figure, but based on the law, it says 1% of the gross sales of the lotto operation of the PCSO, which translates to, as of May 31, 2024, would you like us, Madam Speaker, to have a point of reckoning since 1995, or would you like a specific
No,
year?
I'm only wanted to know 2022 and 2023. Yun lang, yung dalawang taon lang na yun.
Okay. For 2022 and 2023, PCSO share for 2022 is 245,783,952. For 2023, it's 1,144,901,003.06. That's from PCSO.
Okay. So again,
But
also says here that you receive 30% share from professional registration fee.
yes, Madam Speaker, we confirm that. Just for the information, Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues of the Honorable Presley de Jesus, as we are seeing the figures, it's not really the annual. Let's say example, for 2023, the 1% share from lotto operations from PCSO translates to 1.144 billion. But then for the other years, it's like for 2020, it's 199 million. For 2024, since it's a moving number as of May 31, it's still at 37 million. Previous years, year 2000 to 2003, the average is between 45 to 50 million. It's a moving number. The annual figure is not reflective as an average annual figure. But yes, on PRC, there was a 30% share from registration fee. From 2020 to 2022, most probably because this was pandemic times, the share was zero. Prior to the pandemic, it varied. There was 10 million, 6 million, 20 million. But for 2023, the share increased to 66,242,650.8.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. And how about for TIEZA, the travel tax? Just 2 years, 2022 and 2023.
For TIEZA, 2022 is 654,846,876. 2021 is 132,959,000. 2023 is already 2.5 billion approximately.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor. Do you also have private donations?
None, Madam Speaker.
So, zero.
Zero, Madam Speaker, distinguished.
For example, if philanthropies donated lands or any cash values, you don't accept it.
It can be accepted, Madam Speaker, but nobody has donated yet as of the moment. However, there is actually a pending agreement that philanthropists and businessmen can donate classrooms, of course, with permission from the Department of Finance, because this is similar to the DepEd program on tax rebates, the Adapa School program. It is also applicable with CHED, but as of this point of time, it has not been implemented yet. I mean, there is no taker yet because there's so much focus on DepEd.
Yeah. So in short, Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor, aside from the budget that should be given by the House of by the Congress, no? On top of that, you have to add the TIEZA, PRC, and the PCSO. Am I right?
You are correct, Madam Speaker.
So, okay. Now, what's the difference of obligation rate and utilization rate? Pareho lang ba yun o magkaiba yun?
Magkaiba po siya. Basically, we use the words obligation and disbursement. Obligation means like you have an allocation for that. When you say it's obligated, it's like it has been earmarked for a specific program, like being bidded out or transferred to another agency. When you say disbursement, it means the actual cash or payment released from what has been obligated. So if we look back to the utilization rate, it is usually reflective of the obligation rate.
Okay. So that's what I wanted to ask a long time ago. That's why there was a decrease on the UAQTE test for 2025 net was due to the low obligation rate. No, ito yung sinasabi kong almost 15 billion out of 25 billion of the commission as of December 31, 2023. Tama ba yun?
Yeah, Madam Speaker, it's both yes and no. There was no actual reduction because the reduction of 2 billion more or less is actually being attributed to augmentation during the bicameral conference committee hearings. However, you are also correct in saying that the utilization is not that high because the uniqueness in CHED is that the budget year does not coincide with the academic year. The budget season starts with January of a specific year up to December of that specific year, while the academic year starts at August to September, Madam Speaker. In other words, it will look as if the utilization is low, however, that is already earmarked and obligated, but the actual cash release and obligation during the first 2 quarters of the year is still charged to the previous budget year. Because the previous budget year and the current academic year coincides with each other. Parang ang nangyayari is... Yes. So it's like the budget starts at January 2024, but the budget in terms of CHED starts at August or September of that year. Kasi dun sa January up to August, what is being utilized, it's still the second semester allocation of the previous year.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor. Maybe this will be my my last question. We always say, yung ating logo, free quality education. I always hear that, no? So can you assess or the ranking all the SUCs to our neighboring countries? ikumpara mo tayo sa ating neighboring country. Are we at par? Are we better than some of the universities, SUCs in other countries, our neighboring countries, or we are below par?
Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we are actually not far. In fact, I'm just getting the correct figure, but I believe 87. Number. In the QS World University Rankings, there is actually 6 indicators. The University of the Philippines ranks 336th. And this is, of course, out of thousands of universities worldwide. When you are number 336th, you're actually part of top 1. Ateneo de Manila University is 516th. De La Salle is 641st to 650th. And UST is 851st to 900. And these are all improvements from the previous years. In terms of Philippine International Rankings 2024 performance, there are 87 higher educational institutions in the whole Philippines that has been recognized to the category of international ranking. So that's a very good, in other words, Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the Filipinos are inherently intelligent people, and we are very resilient people. We might not be that capable fully in terms of technology and infrastructure, but the quality of training that the mentors have been teaching our children is a lot better compared to our neighboring countries. And by the way, Madam Speaker, last year, there were only 52 higher educational institutions that were recognized with international rankings. So we jumped from 52 HEIs to 87.
Madam Speaker, after hearing our distinguished sponsor that the SUCs in our country is at par with our neighboring countries, I will recommend the additional budget of the SUCs. I'm for them, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, distinguished sponsor.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. We welcome that, Honorable Presley de Jesus.
Thank you, Honorable Presley.
And Madam Speaker, if I may, just to very quick interjection, baka naman pwedeng mabigyan ng discount sa kuryente yung ating mga SUCs.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, next to